I would have left over $1.2 million on the table if I didn't know this finance hack. So at the moment, I'm doing a refinance on 7 properties worth about $11 million. When I do refinances on properties, I'm not focusing on how low the interest rate is or what bank I have a preference towards. What I am focusing on is which lender will give me the highest valuations, because the lender that will give me the highest valuations is the lender that's going to give me the most amount of equity to then go and do what I want to do with that money, whether that's invest in my business, whether that's invest in more property, or whether that's just putting cash in my offset account as a buffer. Now, if you're not working with a mortgage broker and you are just going directly to your preferred bank, you are only going to get that bank's valuation. So if you go directly to ANZ, for example, you are only going to get the valuations that ANZ give you for that property. Now, when you work with the right broker can order valuations from literally any lender on their panel at the same time. What my broker does is they often order all of the major lenders to do valuations. So the 4 or 5 major lenders out there, Macquarie, NAB, Westpac, ANZ, and CommBank. And then they will also order valuations from some maybe second tier or non-bank lenders if we can't get the valuations we need from the majors. For context, it does take longer to order valuations from 5 banks than just to order valuations from 1 bank, which is annoying to some people, but it is well worth it. And I'm about to run you through the numbers just between 3 of the top lenders that give valuation. We had a valuation on one property of $3.125 million, and the difference between that valuation and the bottom valuation was $300,000, because the bottom valuation was $2.8 million. So just between 3 banks, there was $300,000 on a $3 million asset, so about 10% variance, which means if I would have went with the lowest valuation because I just walked into that bank directly and only got that val, that's $300,000 I would have left on the table. Now, the difference between another lender on another property, $1.52 million versus $1.32 million. So $200,000 on a $1.5 million asset, which is about 13 to 15% variance. The difference between 2 assets I've got in one building, $1.2 million was the top valuations versus $874,000 and $974,000. So somewhere between $300,000 to $400,000 variance between those 2 assets with different lenders. When you have a lot of property and you are refinancing a lot of assets, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 per asset over 7 properties adds up to potentially millions of dollars. So it is key that when you are building a portfolio and you are scaling, the most important thing to focus on is equity, not interest rate. So when you are doing a refinance, focus on getting multiple valuations done and going with a lender that will give you the strongest valuation, because you get the most amount of equity, which then means you have the most opportunity to go and do whatever you want to do with it.